Which one is the more advanced smartwatch, the Samsung Galaxy Watch 6 or the Apple Watch Series 8? For most people, this would be a purely theoretical question. After all, the Galaxy Watch won't work with iPhones, and Apple Watches won't work on Android, and most people only carry one phone, so they would not be able to even use the other watch option. But if you are just curious to learn about the capabilities on these two, or are considering switching from Android to iPhone, or the other way around, you might really want to know. So, let's find out. The differences between these two are so fundamental that they start with the shape of the watches. The Galaxy Watch 6 is round, the Apple Watch Series 8 is a rectangle. Now this one is up to personal preference, and both sit well on the wrist, so comfort is not really an issue. You have a smaller and a larger size option on both. The Galaxy Watch 6 has sapphire glass on both the front and the bottom part, which is great. Sapphire is much more durable than regular toughened glass, with some estimates saying it is 60% better at resisting scratches. The Apple Watch Series 8 base aluminum model comes with regular glass, and time has shown that this one can scratch, while for sapphire you need to buy the $800 stainless steel Apple Watch. This is more than twice as much as the Galaxy, so when it comes to just pure material quality and the value for money, the Galaxy is ahead. Samsung brings new one-click bands to the Watch 6, a very welcome upgrade from the spring bars that it used on bands earlier, which made swapping bands a bit of a process. The Apple Watch, on the other hand, was designed with a quick swap system from the get-go, so swapping bands on it is a piece of cake, so now we have parity between the two. The Apple Watch is also notorious for its pricey Apple-made bands, and that's one area where Samsung undercuts Apple with slightly cheaper bands. Of course, you always have third-party bands for both watches, and those come in all shapes, sizes, and price points. Speaking of software, Samsung uses Google's Wear OS platform on the Galaxy Watch, while Apple relies on its own watchOS platform. Now in its 10th generation, watchOS is clearly the more refined platform with various apps. It's a whole ecosystem. Wear OS is also growing now, but it was quite stale before Samsung jumped on board with it last year, so it's going to be an uphill battle there. We won't get into the basic navigation features too much. You swipe and tap on the Apple Watch, and you can also use the digital crown, while on the Galaxy, you also swipe and tap. But then you also have a digital bezel, so you can slide your finger across the edge of the screen to swipe around. Both watches can track your total sleep time, but the Apple Watch also gives you an additional time in bed metric, while the Galaxy Watch has the advantage of also tracking naps. Both do a similarly good job detecting when you fall asleep and when you wake up. However, the actual sleep stages breakdown varies significantly. There is a massive difference in the estimated deep sleep time. The Galaxy definitely underestimates deep sleep time quite often. Additionally, the Galaxy Watch also recorded some dubious blood oxygen readings during sleep, adding further doubt on its scores. To top it all, this night of relatively subpar sleep for me yielded an 80 score on the Galaxy, while the previous night, with proper 7 hours and 40 minutes of sleep, got about the same score of 81 points. In light of this, the numbers from the Apple Watch look far more reliable for sleep tracking. We have been waiting for a proper smartwatch that can last more than one day off the charger, but it seems we are not there just yet on either one of these. With average use and starting at 100% in the morning, both the Galaxy Watch 6 and Apple Watch Series 8 lasted us a full day with double digits left for overnight tracking, and we had still time until noon the next day to recharge. You can get a lot more out of them if you turn off the always-on screen option, of course. As for charging, both the Galaxy Watch 6 and Apple Watch Series 8 charge via a wireless magnetic puck. A half-an-hour charge gives you about 40% juice on the Galaxy Watches and 50% on the Apple Watches, while a full charge takes close to 1 hour and 40 minutes on the Galaxy and 1 hour and 15 minutes on the Apple Watch. As I've mentioned, you have a smaller and larger size options for both watches, which is great. Where the two differ quite a lot is pricing, though. The Galaxy Watch 6 prices start from $300 for the 40mm model, while the Apple Watch Series 8 in its base aluminum case model starts at $400 for the 41mm. And if you want the stainless steel case, which comes with sapphire glass, that costs no less than $700. The Galaxy is definitely your cheaper option. Both watches support voice calls with the cellular models. That means you can leave your phone at home and still take and place calls with just the watch. Of course, your carrier needs to support that feature, and you should be signed up for that plan. In terms of vibration feedback, the Apple Watch Series 8 is still ahead of the Galaxy. Vibration is nice and tight, never vague on the Apple Watch, while the Galaxy haptics just feel a bit more disconnected, but still will do the job. This was a fun comparison. As I mentioned at the start, iPhones don't support the Galaxy Watch, and Android phones don't support the iPhone. So most people will just go with the watch that is supported by the phone they are using and not necessarily have to make the hard choice between these two. But it's still extremely interesting to see which watch is the more advanced one. What we know about the Apple Watch is that Apple is really committed to it, and with the upcoming watchOS 10 update, the software is getting a lot better. It also is proven to have the most accurate sensors of any smartwatch for things like heart rate measurements, blood oxygen levels, and sleep tracking. Samsung, however, is catching up, and it shows that especially with the advanced sleep tracking, which the Apple Watch has implemented very well not too long ago. The larger battery of the Galaxy Watch is another important advantage, and having a sapphire display at that price point is a bargain. But which one is better overall? Let me know your choice and your reasons why below.